you download your cut files, they are going to be in a zip form. So you can see my zip files here. I have the cut files and the printables. I'm going to double click on my cut files and that's going to unzip it for me. Now if you're not running on a Mac, it might be a bit different for you, but just unzip the file and you will see all of the contents of the cut file. So each folder contains both the PNG and SVG files for each cut. So I'm going to go into my Silhouette software and create a 12-inch by 12-inch page. And then go back to my folder of cut files. And I'm going to drag and drop each PNG file for each cut into my blank sheet. And you can put them all inside the same sheet. So literally we're just dragging and dropping by clicking on the left cursor, dragging and dropping it into the Silhouette Studio window. You can also go to Silhouette and choose the Open option and choose each of the files separately, but I find this is faster and easier. So it looks like I have all my files here. I'm going to go ahead and close my folder. And I'm going to just arrange these, make them larger so that I have enough room to put a box around each one. Because as they are right now, these shapes cannot cut. They don't have cut lines. So we are going to trace their cut lines. I'm just going to make this frame just a tiny bit bigger. Okay, so we have all of our shapes here. Now I'm going to go to the Trace menu and select Trace Area. When you come over back to the window, it brings up a cursor and you can drag and drop a box. Now I always unclick High Pass Filter. I increase my threshold to 100%. And sometimes, like it's done here, you don't see the whole shape in yellow, so I have to increase my scale. And I just do it until the whole shape is in yellow. So as soon as that's done, I click the Trace button, and that creates the red line. And I just delete the black shape. So let's do it again. Select Trace Area, draw your box, uncheck High Pass Filter, increase the threshold, and click Trace. Select the black area and hit Delete. And there's my shape. I'm going to do this 4 more times. So you can see, select Trace Area, uncheck High Pass Filter, increase the threshold, and click Trace. And then delete the black area. Now you could also do all of these all at once by creating one big box around all of the shapes. But I find this works a bit easier because if you do it that way, it's going to group them all together and then you have to separate them. So I do like doing it this way a bit better. And sometimes if the shape is quite fine, you might have to go in and make your window a bit bigger so that you can see where you're clicking on the black area. So there are all my shapes, and because they all have the red outlines, that means they are all ready to cut. The next step is to save them into my library so that I can always find them when I need them. So I'm just going to arrange them so in a preview, I want them to be large enough so that in a preview I can see what they look like. So I'm just going to go to File, Save As, and then Save to Library. Now this puts it in the My Own Designs folder. I'm going to name the file name Elle Studio February 2016 Cuts. And you can choose to put the keywords in, and I like to do this so that it's easy for me to search. So I just type in what I'm seeing on the screen: heart, scribble, word bubbles, photographs, tab, and always frame. So if I'm looking for a certain thing, then I can type in heart and it will bring up all the hearts in my library. So Elle Studio is the artist. And once that's all filled in, you can hit close. And just to show you how you can find it again in your library, I'm going to close this sheet down. So File and Close File. And you don't have to save it to your computer because it's already in your library. So now I'm going to go into my library and I'm going to type in, now if I type in Elle Studio, that brings up too many files. So I'll type in February, and there you can see my designs right there. And because I saved them to my library all together, it grouped them together, so I can just go to Modify and Ungroup, and then each one is its own separate file. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the always frame. So I'm going to delete all of the other shapes and resize the always frame to fit into a 3" by 4" pocket. So I just go to Modify and Scale, and I'm going to keep the aspect locked. So I'm going to do 3 inches wide, and it's just about 4 inches high, so that's perfect for what I need. I'm going to put that at the top of my sheet and prepare to cut the shape with my silhouette. I've chosen to cut the shape from textured cardstock, so I've already gone ahead and put the cardstock on the top of my mat, and I'm going to insert it into the machine just along the guidelines and select Load Cutting Mat. Meanwhile, back in my Silhouette software, I select Send to Silhouette, and because my computer is already hooked up to the Silhouette, it syncs and it tells me that it's ready. So I'm going to go in and make sure that I have my settings correct. I click Texture Cardstock and make sure that everything is set to what the Silhouette recommends on my machine. And then I click Send to Silhouette, and my machine begins cutting my shape. Most shapes, especially ones that are highly detailed, work best with a new mat and fresh new blade. Once your shape has been cut, use it in a pocket page, put it on a layout, create your own custom embellishment. The possibilities are endless, and these files are always reusable once you have them in your library. Thank you for purchasing Elle Studio cut files, and enjoy creating.